Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Spellbinders June 3D embossing folder of the month. It's called Scattered Shells. It's a gorgeous design and I love all the detail. The embossing folder is just under 6 by 9 inches. This is part of a monthly subscription, and if you are interested, I do have links provided in the description box below. For pattern paper, I'll be using Honeybee Stamp's Vitamin C collection. I selected this fun sand design. I've already gone ahead and embossed the pattern paper. To help the images really pop, I'm using Catherine Pooler's Icing on the Cake ink and lightly brushing it over all of the embossed images. By adding just that little bit of ink, you can now see all the beautiful detail of the shell images. I'll set that piece aside. Using more pattern paper from Honeybee Stamp's Vitamin C collection, I'll be stamping some images and a sentiment. The stamp set is from Spellbinders. It's called Seahorse Garden. I'll be using both of the grass or seaweed images. I have my pattern paper set up in a mini Misti, and the ink color I'm using is Sea Glass by Catherine Pooler. I'll be doing some second generation stamping. So first I'll stamp on a little post-it note, then I'll re-stamp it with the lighter color. After stamping the first image, I'll readjust it and move it to the right. I will have the two images overlapping just slightly. I'm also moving it down about 1/2 inch so it doesn't look exactly the same as the first stamped grass image. Now I'll shift my paper to the left in my mini Misti so I can stamp another grass image on the very right side of this panel. I'll be stamping just the left side of the grass image on the right side of the card. I've moved this stamp again so I could add just a little bit of grass toward the bottom of this panel. Now I'll switch images and I'm adding just a tiny bit of this grass image toward the bottom of the panel. Some on the right side and also a little bit on the left. I'll readjust the pattern paper so I can still fit the stamped image, and I'll only be using the very top of that stamp. Then I'll shift the paper off to the left and add the final stamped image in the lower right hand corner. I'll continue to do this second generation stamping for all of the images. Now I'll move the pattern paper panel into the lower right hand corner of my Misti and I'll add the sentiment. The sentiment is from the same stamp set. This is Our Friendship is Deeper Than the Ocean. I'm using Honeybee Stamp's Intense Black ink and I will ink it up several times to get a good solid impression. Now I'll layer this panel on some dark brown cardstock. And I'll also layer the embossed panel on the same dark brown cardstock. My embossed panel is 4 1/8 inch by 5 3/8 inch, and the background is a full A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5.5 inches. To adhere the embossed panel onto the brown cardstock, I'm adding some glue. I didn't want to use my ATG and accidentally flatten out some of the embossed images. For the image and sentiment panel, I will be popping it up using some thin foam dimension. This is from Honeybee Stamps. Put a strip along the very outside edge and also a few in the center to make sure there isn't one area that sags. I'm using the black foam dimension since I do have dark brown cardstock, and the white might be visible on the very side. I'll remove the release paper and adhere this panel toward the bottom of the card, about 1/2 inch up from the very bottom. Next I'll add a hot foil image, and this is from Spellbinders Under the Sea Hot Foil Plate and Die Set. I used some beautiful gold holographic glimmer foil on some white shimmer cardstock, and I do have foam dimension on the back. I will need to add one extra piece of foam dimension underneath the fish that goes off of this light teal panel. This die cut piece was left over from a previous video where I featured Spellbinders Seahorse Kisses collection. It's a beautiful collection and works really well with the Scattered Shells 3D embossing folder. For a final finishing touch, I'm adding some Fashion Taupe pearls. These are by Spellbinders. I'll put 3 on the right side above the foiled image and 2 in the lower left-hand corner. They do have adhesive on the back, but I'll add just a small drop of Barely Art glue to make sure they stay in place. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links provided in the description box below. Spellbinders Club subscriptions are open for new subscribers. The last date to subscribe is June 27th. But if you're interested in this embossing folder, I would suggest not waiting. They do tend to sell out fairly quickly. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.